Hi Lakers, and welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. Today's topic is anxiety management, and this first video I want to focus on the physiological symptoms of anxiety and how to manage them. So one of the best ways of managing our anxiety is through deep breathing exercises. And sometimes I hear people say that deep breathing doesn't work for them. I tried it that one time and it didn't work, or how can something as simple as breathing, which I do every day, how can something as simple as breathing help me out when I'm feeling as awful as I'm feeling right now? So I want to share with you a little bit about why it works and why it helps before we get into the exercises. So when we're having these moments of high stress, high anxiety, our sympathetic nervous system is going into overdrive, and it's invoking all of these systems within our body, such as increasing our heart rate, increasing our blood pressure. It's making our muscles tense. And we start to breathe pretty shallowly and very quickly. So if we start to intentionally slow down our breathing, we're sending messages to our brain to slow all these processes down. It's telling our brain to start to relax. And so it does start to, slow down all of those processes that we just talked about, like our heart rate and our blood pressure's reducing. And it's relaxing our muscles and evoking an overall relaxation response. But what's really important with these deep breathing exercises is that we have to practice them, right? The more we do it, the more, the better that we get at it, the easier it becomes, and the more effective it becomes, right? So if you're kind of trying it out for the very first time in the middle of a panic attack or in the middle of your kind of heightened anxiety moment, it's probably not going to be super effective. Right? You really need to practice and get good at it in order to use it during those times. So speaking of practice, how about we try our first deep breathing exercise? So I want to get into kind of the basics, how to make sure that we are breathing right. I know that we all breathe, we're all experts at breathing, but deep breathing is a little bit different, and we want to make sure that we are doing it right to get the best benefits out of it. So I want you all to sit into a spot or a position that feels comfortable, or maybe lay down somewhere that's comfortable, lay down nice and flat. And I want you to put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, because when we're doing these deep breathing exercises, we want to make sure that we are getting in the most air and the deepest breath possible. And by doing that, we are filling in our lungs as deeply as we can. And we want to make sure that when we breathe in, we're pushing out our stomach rather than our chest. Because when we are having our kind of more shallow and quick breathing, that's when our chest is moving, right? We don't want that to happen during these deep breaths. So when we take a deep breath in, your other hand, so my left hand, your left hand, the one on your belly should be the one moving, not the one on your chest. So go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose and make sure that that deep breath is coming in and going through your belly. And now take a deep breath out through your mouth, and again, make sure that your belly is moving. You might notice your chest moving a little bit, but really we want to just make sure that our belly is moving. So go ahead and try that again. We want to take a deep breath in through our nose and make sure that our belly is pushing out. And now exhale. And when we exhale, you want to purse your lips a little bit, almost like you're whistling, and really push that air out. So I noticed just that time I was moving my chest, right? I might have been a little distracted and giving you all directions. So I started breathing more from my chest than my belly. So that's why it's helpful to have our hands where we are so that we can really notice. I notice my hand. Once you're an expert, you don't have to put your hands here anymore. You can just breathe in. You'll be great at it. So let's try a few more. Go ahead and take a deep breath in. And exhale. Deep breath in. And exhale. Deep breath in. And exhale. One more. Deep breath in. And let go. So again, as we're doing with the deep, belly breathing, some other things that we want to make sure that we're doing are breathing in through our nose and out through our mouth. That helps us to kind of get the best breath that we can. And we're wanting to make sure that we're breathing both deeply through our belly and slowly, right? We're slowing things down. So making sure that you're taking those deep breaths intentionally slow. So take your time. So some of the other kind of ways of doing the deep breathing exercises, just a couple. I'm going to share a couple with you. So the first one is box breathing. So this is a super easy one because it's really easy to remember, really easy to do, and you're not holding your breath or exhaling as much. So it's easier for beginners who maybe need to kind of work their way up to that. So box breathing is a way of counting our breaths to make sure that we are kind of going through that cycle pretty slowly. So it's a box breathing because we're going to be doing it kind of like in a box, and we're doing every step at a count of 4. So you're going to inhale for 4, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and inhale for 4 counts. Or hold, Okay, I'm gonna do that again. We're going to inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and then go back into the box by inhaling for 4 counts, okay? So one thing that can be helpful for some people who are maybe more visual or hands-on or like to be doing something with their hands while they are doing these exercises because it gives them something to do or helps them focus more on the task at hand, is to draw a box. You can see my previous attempts here. You can draw a box while you're breathing. Excuse me. So you're going to go ahead and inhale, hold, exhale, hold. I keep going. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. So when you're doing this, you want to still make sure that you're counting. So this should be 4 counts, 4 counts. I wasn't doing that. I was going a little bit quicker, and it's easy to go quicker if you're not counting. So make sure that you're still doing those counting. And we're still using all the same steps that we talked about before when we talked about the deep belly breathing, the inhaling through your nose, out through your mouth with pursed lips. Still using those strategies. The next one is the 4-7-8 breathing, and this one is a little bit more advanced because, like I said earlier, we are holding our breath a little bit longer and exhaling much longer. And for some people who are just starting out with this, it can be a little bit more difficult to do so. It might feel a little bit harder, like I can't breathe, I need to inhale right now. And that's pretty normal, but you gotta kind of work your way up to that. So for this one, again, same concept. We're gonna inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7 counts, and exhale for 8 counts. And now this one is it's not a box, it's more like a triangle. So you're not going to have that 4th step of holding again. You're gonna go straight from the exhale, the long 8 exhale, into that 4 inhale. Again, still using the deep belly breathing, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And if it's helpful for you to, maybe counting doesn't work so well, I need someone to kind of guide me through it. There's a ton of different apps and YouTube videos that you can go and find that will give you those guided breathing exercises. If you just Google breathing exercises, I'm sure you will come up with a million different videos on YouTube to do it from. Or there's several apps that are really great. There's Headspace, there's Insight Timer, and there's Breathe to Relax. These are all really great apps. I've used all of them that will have you, guiding you through the breathing. They also have guided meditations and stuff like that as an extra bonus. So that's it for today. I hope that this was helpful. Thank you for doing these breathing exercises with me. And I hope that you all have a wonderful Wellness Wednesday.